everyone, Carley here with my EKC23 stamp set for Christmas 2008 for Paper Artsy. Now you can see that this one is very much on a snowflake theme. We have got a matching stencil to go with it as well. Now you'll see that we've got a lovely big snow word on this. Now this was designed so that it could be stamped as it is, or I have left enough room so that you can snip between those individual letters, pull them apart and stamp them at different heights or space them differently, etc. Then you can see if you leave those tabs where they are, so here, you can then perfectly line it back up onto your acrylic block and then stamp it back as it was originally supposed to be. Our 3 snowflake stamps can be layered up as well to create a lovely dimensional snowflake, as well as obviously all being used individually. And then our dear little snowman. So he's been designed so that he can fit into the O if you so wish. He can fit into the W. You could have him suspended as a snowman bauble from here. He also fits within the EKC22 baubles. He fits in, I believe he fits in all 3 of those, so he can be popped in those. Plus he also looks great with the tree set that I did last year, because he's just the perfect size. He's only dinky, but he has a lot of uses. Now I've done a few different samples, but just before we go on to those, just want to tell you that the snow has been designed so that it absolutely perfectly fits the snow stamp counterpart, which means you can then just ink through this to decorate your word snow if you so wish. And of course lots of beautiful background snowflakes. I've used this so much. Now just want to bring in this card first. So this is done using that snow word from the stencil, simply popped onto the card, stenciled through with fresco paint, and then I just drew around the stencil. So after I'd stenciled my letters through, just drew around with fine black pen just to outline it and added my own little dots and things to it. You can see I then decided to suspend those small snowflakes from that stamp from the word snow. And this is what I was mentioning before about how the snowman is sized so that he will fit within the W. By the way, I think he needs a name, so please feel free to suggest a few names for him, but not Frosty. I can't have Frosty. You can see as well how I've used that snowflake stencil in the background of the card. If I get that to catch the light, you can see how I've used the metallic glaze there for the background snowflakes. And of course everything has been glittered within an inch of its life. So once I'd stenciled through the paint for snow, I then applied some sparkle medium over the top through the stencil to create that glittery effect. Now I've got my actual snowflakes here now. Now this was done very simply, just applying that metallic glaze through that background or through that stencil to create the background. You can see again if I get that to catch the light, and then just stamped over the top. So you can see I've stamped and embossed the snowflake swirl, just added in with glue some sparkly dots to be hanging the snowflakes from. But you can see as well I did a little bit of cutting out with those 2 blue snowflakes, just make it a little bit different. I mean obviously you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but just a little something there to catch the eye, especially if it's stamped onto the front of the card and that it's then all the way through to the back. It looks quite effective. Now I've got 2 cards here that are sort of on the same theme. So again, using the snowflakes, snowflake swirl, and dangling. Now this is what I particularly like. If I bring in this one now, the fact that this one is very much the same, but it's square instead of long. Now because all of the stamps are individual, it means you can then create cards all on the same theme, but because they're individual stamps as opposed to one big one, means you can make that composition fit whatever size of card you want. So it can be an A5 one such as this, it can be a 6-inch square one like this one, could be 8-inch square, it could be a long tall one, but because they're all individual, it enables you to take that same idea and just adapt it to lots of different sizes of cards. And this is what I particularly like about having individual stamps. And you'll notice that I always tend to do this, have lots of individuals, which then means you have lots of variation then of being able to create different types of cards. You know, stepper cards, things like that would look good too. So you can see how I have cut out that center snowflake this time. Again, just it's quick, it's simple, but it looks really classy and effective. Now I've taken that same process of doing, excuse my hand here, of using that same idea but different layouts with this one. So you can see I've got that word snow, and this is what I was saying before about splitting up the letters, being able to then stamp them at different heights, different spacing. I've taken Bert, and Twinkle from EKC23, and this time I've turned them into robins just by choosing my colours as a robin would be. And you can see I've got that snowflake stencil in the background again. There's that metallic glaze. So really nice, easy, achievable cards to make. I've stamped and embossed my words this time, and I just went around it with black pen just to stand it out a little bit. Then I applied that sparkle medium through the stencil to get my glittery letters. With this one, so here's a long thin one now as opposed to A5 size. So you can see you make it fit whatever style of card you want. So same process, so I've stamped each one out individually, had them at different heights. I've taken is falling from these from the wording stamp. So if I bring that in, you can see I've got snow is falling, but there's enough room to snip between that with the stamp and then just have is falling if you want to. So again, I did think about this as I was sort of designing it. And this one is just with coarse glitter to decorate the word snow. Now if you're into your oxides, this is one using oxides as the background, and here I've just left the word snow as it is, so you know, left all the letters joined together, pop them back. But you might just be able to work out or just see here where I stenciled white first using snow stencil, and then I stamped the word snow over the top. So again, you can just see it peeking where I didn't line it up perfectly. And again, I like this because it then stands that word out a little bit by having that little bit of shadow. I wish that these weren't quite so well lined up so that I'd still got that behind these as well. And there's that little snowman again who still needs a name. So that completes my 2018 stamp release for Paper Artsy. Again, they are available from all Paper Artsy stockists and from www.kcarley.com.